Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you clicked on this video. Today I'm going to be doing a budget Aldi grocery haul. And so for this grocery haul, the grand total was $110.33 and for everything that we got today. And I'm going to show you everything that we got, including the prices of all of the items. And I'm going to go through at the end the meals that we plan to make with them. So just for some background, the household that I'm in is 2 people, so it's me and my husband, and we initially went from spending around $400, sometimes even upwards of $450 to $500 a month on groceries, and we decided to start budgeting and really try to reduce that number. So after a lot of research and planning, we determined we wanted to try to stick to $250 a month for groceries, which came out to $62.50 per week. And so that was our goal going in, and we actually were able to spend even less than that. So all of the groceries I'm going to show you today were $55 per week, and we shopped for 2 weeks. So I'm really excited to get started and show you. First, I'm going to go ahead and pop over to the counter so I can show you all of the frozen and cold items and get those put back into the refrigerator. One caveat is that everything that we got today, we did get from Aldi except for one item, which you'll see when I show you the cold section, and that is egg whites. But that still factors into the cost and the total of $110.33. But they didn't have any egg whites at Aldi this week, so we just had to go over to Lidl to get those. And I will say the prices of everything over there too, but just so you know, everything from Aldi except for the egg whites. So let's go ahead and get into those cold and freezer items, and then we'll come back over here and I'll show you everything else. Okay, let's start off with the cold and frozen items. I can go ahead and get those put back into the fridge. First, we have here some egg whites. We have some 2% milk. We have some cheesecake. I'll explain this a little bit later on, but as far as how we did the budget, we did a certain amount for just regular grocery items. And then at the end, we left a little bit of wiggle room for my husband and I both to get some special treats that we wanted. And this was one of the ones that he chose. We have some Countryside Creamery, tastes like butter that we got. We have some frozen blueberries. I'm really excited for this one. We have a breakfast planned to use this one with, so I'm really excited to make that later today. We got some mild cheddar shredded cheese. We got 5 steamed mixed vegetables, and these are going to be used for a variety of dinners, in addition to some frozen vegetables we already had in the fridge. We have 3 frozen ground turkey meat that we're going to be using. These 2 are likely going to be used for the first 2 weeks, and then this one should be able to roll into the 3rd week of dinners. We have this Breakfast Best original heat and serve 10 sausage links, and this is actually an idea my husband had to for our Saturday breakfasts, to make some sausage pancake bites in some muffin tins. So I think that's going to be really good, especially to change it up for the weekend breakfasts. And then over here we have meat. So we have 2 packs of chicken drumsticks, and both of these have about 12 to 13 drumsticks in each of them. And this one's already frozen. We shopped last night, but we went ahead and put this one in the freezer because that's going to be for next week, and then this one's going to be for this week, and I'll go over a little bit later all of the meals that we plan to make with them. And then lastly, we have the pork chops here, and we got a great deal because they were $2 off, so this ended up being only $4.71. So that is all the frozen and cold items that we got, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop these back in the fridge, and we'll get back to all of the regular items over on the table. Okay, so let's get into all of the non-perishable, non-cold items. So we're gonna start here with some cans. We've got some Dakota's Pride dark red kidney beans, and we got 2 cans of these. We plan to do beans with a lot of meals, as you'll see when I show you the meal plan later, but beans just really help to stretch meals. They really help to keep you full. They have a lot of really good fiber, so they're really good for your health too. And so we thought that adding in beans to a lot of our meals would help with all of those things, including just stretching. This is the only canned beans that we got, and I'll show you next the other ones that we got, but yeah, these are the only canned ones that we got, and I'll sort of go over why. But as far as pricing, these beans were 79 cents each for the dark red kidney beans. And then we also got canned tuna as well. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cans of canned tuna. We both really love tuna sandwiches, and that's part of our lunch meal plan this week. And so I'm really excited for these because these also stretch quite a bit. We can usually get about 3 sandwiches worth out of these cans of tuna once we add in the relish and the mayonnaise, and go ahead and get our sandwiches together. It gets about 3 of them. So these cans will stretch for a very long time. So that was a really good purchase as far as longevity goes. That was our biggest plan when it came to this budget, is let's get items that we can know will stretch and will give us the most bang for our buck, but also have some good health value to them. And so 5 cans of tuna, and let's go ahead and check the cost for these. So the canned tuna, these were 87 cents each. And then I mentioned beans, so we have a stack here of 3 additional types of beans. Starting with these Dakota's Pride green lentils. So we are going to be making lentil soup for the very first time. We've never made it before, so it's going to be interesting. But we got a 1-pound bag of these green lentils, and this is going to stretch quite a bit too. So we're really excited to make these. Oh, almost forgot the price. The lentils cost $1.39 for a 1-pound bag of lentils. So that's a pretty good price. Now let's go on to the beans. So we've got a 2-pound bag of pinto beans, and we've never made beans straight out of the bag like this. We've always done just the canned beans, but we really wanted to try to save money and stretch. You'll hear me say stretch so many times in this video, but really wanted to stretch the cost as much as we could, and beans like this we know will stretch quite a bit. So these will last us, we think, way beyond even just the 2 weeks that we got them for. So we're really excited to see what we can do with these. Pinto beans, frijoles pintos, and this is the Pueblo Lindo brand at Aldi. And to go with that, we also got some black beans. So here are the black beans that we got, another 2-pound bag. So we're gonna switch off between the beans that we have for each dinner just to give us a little bit of variety. So we have kidney beans, pinto beans, and black beans. And the pinto beans and black beans, let's see how much those were. The pinto beans were $1.85 for the 2-pound bag, and the black beans were $2.69 for the 2-pound bag. So still a really good price, especially compared to how much you get with this versus the canned. We spent a lot of time in the aisle sort of doing the calculations to see which would be better, so we ended up with the bags. So as I mentioned, when we were going over the frozen and cold food items, we structured the budget in a way that we were able to go up to a certain amount for our regular everyday meals and staples, and we left a little bit of wiggle room in the budget to get fun items. And everything in this category just falls under sweet treats, a fun snack, something that we wouldn't typically get for every day and isn't necessary, but just something to kind of make our week a little bit sweeter. And so we each chose a few different options, and one of the options I chose were these fruit roll-ups. So I grew up with fruit roll-ups. I absolutely love them. And I'm just a huge sweets and candy person in general. I love fruit roll-ups, Gushers, Fruit by the Foot, all of those, gummy bears, gummy worms, all of those soury, gummy, candy, chewy like things. I love them, and I have not had fruit roll-ups it's been years. And so when I saw these, I definitely knew I wanted to have them be one of the treats that I got. So I'm super excited to eat these. There's 10 of them, so I can make it last quite a bit. I typically, when I get snacks like this, will eat them really quickly, but I bet my husband that I'm gonna make these last even past the 2 weeks. So we'll see if I can do that. Fruit roll-ups with tongue tattoos, so this will be fun. And the fruit roll-ups, let's see what the cost of those were. These were $2.97. Let's move on to another canned item. We have these Happy Harvest crushed tomatoes in a 1-pound 12-ounce can, so 28 ounces total, and we plan to make some tomato soup with this. So what we decided to do, and I'll show you when I show you the meal plan, is have a soup per week for lunch. And so one of the soups is going to be the lentil soup, and one is going to be the tomato soup. And so I'm very excited for this one. I love grilled cheese and tomato soup, and so it's going to be really, really exciting to have that for lunch. I think that's one of the best things you can do when you make a budget, is just try to be as cost efficient as you can while also putting in things that you love. So we easily could have gotten a bunch of fresh tomatoes, but that would have cost way more than getting this can of crushed tomatoes. That is going to make just as much soup, if not more, for less than half of the cost. And so the cost for the can of crushed tomatoes was $1.49. So we also got some mayonnaise. Berman's Real Mayonnaise, a 1 pint 14 fluid ounce jar, or 30 fluid ounces total. So for this mayonnaise, we are going to be using this with our tuna sandwiches. We had run out of mayonnaise before, so we needed to buy some more. But I think one thing that did help us save on cost is looking to see what we already had in the fridge and in the pantry before we went out and got anything else. So some of this is going to build off of things that we already had, like for example with the frozen vegetables that I showed you. You might be thinking, oh, that's not going to last the 2 weeks, but we have frozen vegetables already in the fridge that will stretch that even more. And so we just sort of used what we already had and added to it to help save money. But yes, this will be used for the tuna sandwiches. We compared the ingredients to the Duke's mayonnaise, which is what we usually get when we're not shopping at Aldi, and surprisingly the ingredients were all pretty much the same. The nutrition facts were all pretty much the same, so we thought it was a no-brainer to get this because it was definitely about half the cost of the Duke's. But as far as cost, the mayonnaise was $3.09. Now let's move on to the bread here. So as you can see, we got a lot of bread items. Let's start with the hamburger buns. So we got a pack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hamburger buns. 8 pre-sliced hamburger buns, and we're going to be having some pulled chicken sandwiches as well as turkey burgers for 2 of the meals in the next couple of weeks. And so these hamburger buns are going to go with that. They're very soft and squishy. 0 gram of trans fat, no artificial flavors or colors, no high fructose corn syrup. And the cost for the hamburger buns, were $1.15. So moving on to these other slices or loaves of bread. They got 2 loaves of the 100% whole wheat Love and Fresh bread, which is Aldi's signature bakery brand, Love and Fresh. And believe it or not, we counted all of the bread slices in here so that we could make sure we were getting the loaves that had the most slices in them so that we could make it stretch. They all had the same amount, 20 slices, and we plan to have a lot of bread actually this week between sandwiches and avocado toast in the mornings. And so that's why we got 2 loaves. We'll see how well they stretch through the 2 weeks because we know it's going to be, pretty important. We obviously still have wiggle room in the budget should we absolutely need to go back and get another loaf, but we have so many different lunch options, we don't think we're going to end up needing to do that. So we'll see. But 2 slices, 2 loaves of the 100% whole wheat bread. And those both cost $1.89 each. Now let's move on over here. We have this box of Jiffy buttermilk pancakes. This is buttermilk pancake and waffle mix. And this we got because my husband plans to make, like I mentioned when we went over those cold items, these pancake muffin bites for breakfast on weekends. We already have breakfast planned out for during the week when we're a little bit busier. That can be a little bit quicker, but we thought it'd be fun to switch it up on the weekends to get something a little more fun. We love pancakes. My husband makes really great pancakes, so we thought this would be a great option, and we found quite a big box of it. So this is a 2-pound box of buttermilk pancake and waffle mix. It's the Jiffy brand buttermilk pancake and waffle mix. Just add water. what we're gonna do actually is we have some protein powder that we got a while ago that we actually did not end up liking the taste of, and so we figured maybe we can put it in this pancake mix and make protein pancakes, and hopefully it'll mask a little bit of that taste that we didn't like when having it just as a plain protein shake. So that's something we've done before with protein powder, and so we're both really excited to give it a try with this. This is definitely going to be one of those items we don't have to rebuy for a while because there's so much in here. And so this is going to definitely stretch, I think, even beyond just this whole first month. So not having to rebuy this is going to be really good as far as cost saving. And the cost for these was $2.99 for this 2-pound box of pancake mix. Keeping with the box theme, we have some Special K Chocolatey Delight cereal. So this was one of the special items that I got in the part of the budget where we could just get treats and things. I love this Special K cereal. I've been eating Special K since I was a kid, and just always loved it. My mom would get it and I would always have a bunch of bowls of it, of all the different flavors, and this one quickly became one of my favorites, along with fruit and yogurt, which is really good too. This Chocolatey Delight is one of my favorites. It's such a good treat when you want something sweet and chocolatey and decadent, but a little bit less indulgent than maybe just like a chocolate bar or some chocolate cake or something like that. So I feel like it really does help satisfy my chocolate craving or my sweet craving. And so I tend not to eat cereal for breakfast. It's more of a snack for me. And so this will definitely be one of the snacks that I have throughout the week. And let's see, this one cost $2.49. So I couldn't pass it up for a family size. For it to be on that much of a sale was pretty good. It's always nice when Aldi has some of those fun name brand items. So another big item we got was this huge box of rolled oats, old-fashioned oats. And we plan to make a really fun breakfast with this. We actually got it from a YouTuber online that makes these really good blueberry oat muffins. And we typically are hot breakfast people, hot with meat and eggs and that sort of thing, really, really hearty breakfasts. But we're trying to include oats in our diet more just for health reasons, and so we wanted to give it a try to do some oats, and that's what we're going to use this along with those frozen blueberries that I showed you for. So we think that's going to be really, really good. We're excited to make that, but we know that this is going to last quite a bit because it's a pretty big can, jar, box, whatever you want to call it. 2 pounds and 10 ounces, so 42 ounces total, over 10 pounds of oats, and it's pretty full to the top. There's 40 grams of whole grain per serving, which is amazing. Rolled oats, old-fashioned. So these I think are going to be really good. Making those bites for the first time. It's Sunday today, so we shopped for all of this yesterday, and today's Sunday. And so we're going to prep everything today once we get home from church, and so we're going to be able to have everything made and ready to go. And this is going to be one of those quick grab and go breakfasts that we can just heat up really quickly. That's super easy, and so that'll be a really nice option, and should definitely last us those 2 weeks. These should last us way longer even. So the rolled oats cost, let's see, old-fashioned oats, $3.79. Okay, so the next item we have is this 100% lemon juice, natural strength. So we got this lemon juice just to have something to put into our waters every day. We're both trying to drink more water and keep track of it more, and just to kind of give it a little bit of extra taste and variety without adding calories and things like that. We wanted to just do some lemon juice. We had gotten some lemons at first, but the lemons were $3.09, but we were able to get this 1 quart of lemon juice for much less. Let me check the receipt. So we were able to get the lemon juice for $1.99. And so we were like, okay, this would allow us to have it for a lot longer, and be able to save some money in the budget. So when we were able to make that switch, it was super exciting to be able to save so much money and still be able to have that lemon juice in our water every day. Maybe when the lemons are on sale, we can do actual lemons, but this was a great trade-off and saved a lot of money. It's a pretty big bottle. So this should definitely last us a while, and should be another one of those things we don't have to rebuy even after the 2 weeks, which will save a lot of money. So that's really exciting. So speaking of drinks, this was one of our fun items. So we chose this one together. We both really like juice. We tend to drink water throughout the day, probably coffee in the morning, water throughout the day, and then we typically like to have juice with dinner. But we weren't really gonna budget for it. We just figured it was an easy way to save money to just drink water. But when we got to the end and had room to put a couple of extras in, one of the things we wanted was some juice, and this one looked really good. We love strawberry lemonade, raspberry lemonade, all kinds of lemonade flavors, and so we saw this organic strawberry lemonade from the Simply Nature brand that looked like it would be really good. Poured over some ice. It's the summertime, really hot outside, and so we definitely thought this would be a really nice, refreshing option. And it's a pretty big bottle too, and they actually filled it up quite to the top, which you don't typically get. And so 2 quarts, 64 fluid ounces, so really big, and we think it should be really good too. And the price for that was $2.99. So that will be really good. This next item we got was some chicken broth. We're going to use this in our soup, in both our lentil soup and probably the tomato soup too. We found 2 recipes online for both of them, and so we wanted to have some chicken stock. We plan to try to make our own chicken stock too with the chicken legs that we got, but wanted to get some chicken broth too, just to add to it. We're not sure exactly how much broth it'll make when we do it with the chicken legs, and so we thought it'd be good to have some extra just in case. we got the reduced sodium, just because broth can tend to have a lot of sodium in it, and so we wanted to get as few of that as we could. Or as little of that, I should say. And then we also got some agave. So we had started using agave within the last month or so. We both had always heard of it, but just never really bought it before. But we like having it as a sugar alternative and to sweeten different things. The recipe for those blueberry muffin bites, oat muffin bites, call for maple syrup, and so we thought we would do agave in it instead. And so sometimes we also use this when we have oatmeal, to put that over the top. I put it in tea before to sweeten tea, and so it's a really nice addition to your normal baking and cooking and things like that in place of sugar or syrup or something sweeter, or more in calories. And so this is a really good one. So the chicken broth, I just realized I forgot to say the price of the chicken broth. The chicken broth was $1.29, and the agave was $4.29. So this was definitely a higher ticket item for how much you get for it, but we knew that going in and sort of planned for it in the budget, and it lasts quite a while, especially with what we use it on. And so if we can find it cheaper somewhere else, we might try to do that, but for now, luckily it did fit in the budget this week, and so it'll really come in handy with the baking of the oat muffins and anything else we use it for to sweeten. And now we're going to move on to some chips. So this is a little bit crinkly, so I'm going to try to handle it carefully. So we got some blue corn tortilla chips. This was one of the special items that my husband chose. So he really loves these chips. They tend to hold really well. Unlike most chips, when you open the bag, they tend to get really hard and stale after a few days. These ones actually keep their crunchiness and their tenderness, if you can use that for chips, really well, even after the bag is opened. And so that's what we really love about them. And so this has been quickly one of his favorites. We've only been getting it from Aldi for the last month or two, but he really loves them, and so this was one of his treats that he decided to get. And so it's organic blue corn tortilla chips. They're gluten-free, made with sea salt, and they are like a blue, sort of blackish color like this, made from this blue corn, and it's the Simply Nature brand at Aldi. And these chips were $1.85, so really good price because it's a pretty big bag of chips. I mean, that's my hand, and it's a pretty big bag. It's about 8 1/4 ounces, so, and they're filled pretty high. So these are a really good option if you like tortilla chips but want a little bit more of a healthier alternative. And then the last item on this side of the table we have is this tomato paste. And this is going to be used for our lentil soup, and we can use it for a few other things too. I love how cute and small the little tomato paste jars are, but this one is going to be used for a variety of things. We can make pasta sauce with it, so it can definitely stretch beyond just the one meal and beyond the 2 weeks, so that'll be really nice. And the cost of these were $0.86. 86 cents for a 6-ounce jar of tomato paste. And if you've ever bought tomato paste, you know they are always filled right to the top. So I think it was definitely a great price for all that you get and how easily you can get this to stretch in meals. So that is everything on this side of the table. The last items are going to be produce, and so we're going to head over here and I'm going to show you all of the produce that we got. Okay, so here are all of the produce items that we got. We got avocados, potatoes, oranges, apples, onions, and blackberries, and we got some pretty decent sizes for all of them, and so they definitely should last much longer than the 2 weeks that we intended for. And so the oranges and the apples are just going to be a snack that we can have throughout the week in between meals. The onions are going to go in quite a few of the meals just as additives for flavor. The avocados are going to be for breakfast, and I'm going to show you the meal plan in just a second here so you can see exactly what we're having each day. And then the blackberries again are just going to be a snack. This was one of my special items that I had chosen to kind of go at the end of our budget for those more specialty items and treats. I really wanted some blackberries. I hadn't had some in a while, and so that is why I decided to grab some of these. So that is everything that we got. So let me now show you the meal plan so you can see what we plan to make with everything. So this is our meal plan for the month of August. I just found this sheet online and printed it off to be able to write down everything and keep it organized. So as you can see, I sort of blocked off Sunday, which is today, because it's just going to be a prep day where we eat leftovers that we already have. And so we are starting fresh tomorrow on Monday. And so we have all of the breakfasts are the same, but we just have options from Monday through Friday. We have the baked oat muffins that we plan to make with the oats and the blueberries, and that's going to be something that we prep today, freeze, and then we can heat up and eat, grab and go throughout the week. The second option for breakfast is going to be avocado toast with egg whites, and so we can just sort of choose which one we want every day, and having 2 options helps to keep a variety, helps to keep it so that we aren't getting too bored and too sort of burnt out on the same thing, but we were still able to get both of those options within the budget, so that was great. And then Saturdays is where it changes up, where we're going to do the protein pancakes and sausage, just to have something a little bit different. And then for Monday's lunch, or Monday through Friday lunch, we have 3 different options. So we're going to have the tuna sandwiches, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or some soup. And so you didn't see any peanut butter or jelly in this haul because we actually already had some, so we didn't need to buy any of that. And then you saw all of the ingredients for the soup and for the tuna sandwiches, and so we can sort of mix and match as we want. We can just have a peanut butter and jelly, or we can just have a tuna sandwich, or we can have tuna sandwich and soup together. So like I said, having those options helps to keep variety and also stretch the meals further. So that's everything for lunch. And then for dinner, that is going to be what changes. So Monday we're going to have beef ribs with rice and veggies. Tuesday we're going to have barbecue chicken legs with mashed potatoes, beans, and veggies. And we're going to have leftovers for that. So we're going to have those for 2 nights. And then for Thursday, we're going to have baked potatoes with pulled chicken, beans, and veggies, and have those for 2 nights as well. And then Saturday, we're actually going to a local event where they're going to have food trucks and things like that. And so we're going to eat out that day. And so that's why we didn't put anything for that day. And then that's everything for week 1. Moving into week 2, for the weekend, we're going to keep with those protein pancakes and sausages on Sunday. For Monday, it's going to be the same as the week before. Those 2 options with the baked blueberry oat muffins or the avocado toast with egg whites. And then for lunches, it's going to be the same, but the only difference is that the soup is going to be different. That's going to be the tomato soup. So we'll have tomato soup, and we can still have any of these 2 sandwiches, but we can also make grilled cheese too. We already have sliced cheese in the fridge, and so we can use the sliced cheese to make grilled cheese, and we didn't have to buy anything for that, which is something that we already had. So we have a few more options as far as that goes for lunch. And then for dinners, on Sunday we're doing the pork belly, rice, beans, and veggies. For Monday, we're having cheeseburger or chili mac with beans and veggies, and having that for 2 nights. So having the leftovers on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we're making 1 pot rice and chicken legs with beans and veggies, and having the leftovers for that on Thursday. And then Friday's meal will be turkey burgers, fries, beans, and veggies. And then this is likely going to be the day that we grocery shop again. So I just kind of put a little reminder there. So that is roughly what the plan is for these first 2 weeks of August, and what all of the meals that we went, or all of the ingredients and everything that we went over should make for us and last for 2 weeks, if not more. And then I'll fill out the rest of this planner once we figure out how much we have left over from this and how much can carry over into the remaining weeks. So we should definitely have a lot of things that roll over, like the oats and the agave, some of the snacks that we got, the mayonnaise, things like that should definitely roll over, and that'll really help with continuing to save money and keep budget for the rest of the month. So I hope you enjoyed this monthly planner, and I am excited to show you all the meals that we make from it. Okay, so that was everything in this Aldi haul. The total again for 2 weeks was $110.33. And so per week that comes out to $55 per week that we spent on groceries for 2 people. And so I'm really excited again, and I can't wait to show you all of the meals that we make. I'm going to make that in a separate video, showing you what we have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with everything that we bought from Aldi for only $55 a week. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.